Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know what
Nail,
it is.
play that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know, man. Get that money, man. Get that money. Take to the house. Ain't no easy money. Easy money. Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock
said,
on wood, knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
yeah, put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're
last.
last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. Your host with the most. Got the gang with me. Already know Chris, Cam, Swan. What's good, my brothers? Man, we're here. It's sad because it's the end, but we made it, man. We just wrapped up conference finals. It was actually a short conference finals on both sides. Had the sweep in the East, Boston over Indiana in 4, and then Cam had the amount of games right. He just had it the wrong way. Dallas in 5 over Minnesota. We're gonna talk about that one last, and then we're gonna get into this finals matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics, man. First up, Eastern Conference Finals, like I said, Indiana, they probably should have won at least a game or two, maybe even 3. Somehow, some way, they got swept because they couldn't finish. Young team, you know, they had this magical run. Now you got to go into the off season, and I'm just wondering, like, from their perspective, or what y'all thinking. We know in 2021 we seen the Atlanta Hawks somehow make it to the conference finals when nobody thought they had any business being there, and then they haven't been anywhere close since. Are y'all thinking this run for the Pacers is more like that 2021 Hawks? Or y'all think like this is actually something that can stick? They got something they can build on, and you see them getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals within the next year or two, maybe even possibly a finals run if they add the right pieces.
Man, that's a good one. I actually think it's probably like a 2021 run. I ain't gonna lie, because no shade to Indiana and everything, but everybody was banged up in the East. New York, half their roster was out. Um, you know, um, you seen how Cleveland was with their matchup with Boston. Everybody was halfway out.
True, Milwaukee
So
ain't have Dame
yeah,
or
they ain't have Giannis at all, and they don't have Dame for like maybe 2 or 3 of them games. They have relied on Bobby Portis in one in a couple games. So I'll say no. It's going to be another 2021 Hawks run for sure, because like I said, half the East wasn't healthy. Bringing back Giannis, Dame, you're getting back Brunson, and they probably can add some pieces around there. It's not looking highly. Then they got to see like who they're gonna resign, because Siakam's a free agent, so they give him his money, and then now Halliburton is due for a extension now, because he made All NBA third team. So the money's gonna be tight there. You already got Miles Turner on a hefty contract. You got to pay Siakam. You got to pay Halliburton. They won't be able to afford everybody there, because eventually, Mathurin, when he come back, he gonna need his contract soon. And then you got McConnell, probably he a pending free agent. I don't see them repeating as the Eastern Conference. Like I said, that's just me personally though.
Well, that's interesting. You bring McConnell because McConnell is actually still under contract, but this
Oh,
probably
yeah.
hit the highest his value ever gonna be, and it's a low contract. But so 2 points, they made a gamble and even trading for Siakam because, like you said, he a free agent. It was basically like a 4-month rental, and then I'm sure whatever conversations they had, they was banking on like, hey, once the season over, we gonna offer you whatever for you to sign back here. I'm sure behind closed doors that probably was what was said, but that means essentially they gonna offer him a max deal. Offering Siakam a max deal at this age, I don't know, but hey, that's probably what they're gonna have to do because someone will, and they'll steal him from him, and then that will really be a waste. Halliburton's getting his max money. You trade McConnell, They need a vet wing piece. I've heard some of them think about trading Matherin possibly. Neesmith is still on a healthy contract. And then you had Nimhart, who showed kind of when Tyrese was out, he could be a guy. Do you relegate Nimhart to the bench so he can come in and be like the scorer instead of having to be backup to Halliburton when they on the court together? When he can be like the 6-man focal point, is that a way to like readjust the roster?
I I think it's a way to readjust the roster because I think for one, well, to answer the question first, I think it was a fluke. Well, I wouldn't say it was a fluke run. I think it's kind of similar to what OKC did last year. It's like they do this and then they can see like what they really need to move the needle. Like when they got Pascal, I wasn't really sold on it moving the needle. Like because every team is competing to win a championship. They're not competing to get to a Eastern Conference Finals, right? They want to win the whole thing. So I think for them, like grabbing Pascal definitely helped in that sense of getting to the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. But I don't think he was a move that was going to get them to the championship. And like Cam said, a lot of these teams were also kind of injury ridden a little bit. New York was gassed. I think now I do think they can be back. I think what they need to do is I don't know the contract details, so if anybody got anything to say about it, just let me know. But I think like a player like Obi Toppin, I don't know if he's necessary on a championship team like that. Like I feel like that's a piece you can move. I think you can move
Yeah,
Obi
He
Toppin.
he is a pending free
yeah,
agent.
it's
He's
crazy too.
restricted free agent, but
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I
tough
I
because he
I
he can play good minutes, but he be
he
like,
can. He can.
but
I just don't know if he's
he's
like
taking away minutes from Walker too. That's another thing.
I don't think I don't think they need him. I think you keep Benedict. I think I'm a big fan of Benedict Mathurin personally. Um, I think if he was healthy, he would have been like a key piece in this run that they just had. I think when he comes back next year or even just the years following, because they still got time, bro. Like they still got time. So I think you keep Ben, you keep Nimhard, you keep Neesmith, you keep Tyrese, you keep Miles. You see what all these other guys are worth around the league, and then you try and trade. Whether you're trying to trade up for a pick, whether you're trying to get another key role player that's actually going like because a lot that's the thing with Tyrese, man. Like I was more impressed with him getting assists because it's not like he had a team full of like pure scorers. He still doesn't have that pure scorer piece. Like as good as anybody want to say Pascal Siakam is, I'm not sold on Pascal Siakam. I don't think he's that piece that Tyrese and Miles needs to get over the hump and actually get to a finals at the least. So if Pascal is a rental, by all means, right? Let's free up that space and let's go get somebody that's not a rental that we can invest in. Whoever that is, I don't know. But I think it needs to be somebody that they can get a ball to, he can put it on the floor, and he can score efficiently on every part of the floor.
So hypothetically, for example, you got players. Even though he's older, he has a lot of player experience. How would you feel if they brought in like a DeMar DeRozan with Tyrese? Like he put the ball on the floor, get pressure off him, scoring more, scoring better, free
I
throw
don't
mercy.
I don't know if I like it because the way Pacers makeup is right now with their team, they're all
They
very
fast paced.
young. Well, they fast paced, but they all very young. I feel like
Yeah.
if they want to actually build something, don't go get a super young guy, but get a guy, 27,
The only
29, like
the
maybe
only
that and
player
sign him for a couple years, see what it's like.
the only player left that's like that is like a Zach Levine, but he can't stay healthy and he's
well, that's
expensive.
that's the thing.
That
Yeah, you had to take. I don't even think technically with the new CBA if they gonna give. I'm just gonna assume that they're giving. We know they're giving Halliburton the max. I'm gonna assume that they're about to give Siakam whatever his max is. And then there's also rumors potentially. I think it's stupid personally, but there's rumors that PG could possibly be back in Indiana because that's what they need is a wing player. So it's like they're either about to go shop for a wing player or you're banking on Benedict Mathurin returning from injury and being that guy, which he could be. But the way that Carlisle had his minutes in rotation this year, it was kind of not consistent to where you could actually get a real feeling to see if he could be that guy. He had spurts and moments, but like there's PG, OG Anunoby is a free agent. I know they said Wiggins, which I don't
Yeah, I
know.
seen
I don't
that
know
one.
about that. And Gordon Hayward, since obviously
I've seen that one
that
too.
wasn't
But
a
if
fit.
you
Okay, see.
but if you end up getting PG, that's another DeMar DeRozan. Like they only 2 years apart from each other.
Oh yeah, no, I don't agree with getting PG at
Yeah,
all, but it's a
the
real
same
thing, and I'm
thing.
just like,
The only
you get
difference is
PG, you
between
got a window of 2 years for a guy
yeah,
who hasn't won anything.
and the
Exactly.
only difference um between PG and DeMar is that DeMar is more durable. He can stay more healthy than PG. PG been having years of injuries and stuff going back to like 2015 with that leg injury. With DeMar, he ain't really have he's probably like the health as DeMar got older, he got healthier actually. Like he haven't really like had like nothing, career ending or season ending like that. Like he's been healthy. And I'm not saying that, both moves are like, you gotta win now. Basically like Bryce
Mhm.
said, like a 2 year window. But like I said earlier, with the East being like getting stronger and stuff, outside of like Boston, Milwaukee, teams like that, even Philly, I'm not gonna count them out because they could probably make more moves. I even mentioned Philadelphia, like they could potentially make some offseason moves.
Yeah, they're
And
gonna
so
offer someone a max, and that
yeah,
that might be Paul George, which I
they
don't.
going
I'm not
but
in on
they
Paul George for anybody
but
at this point in his
with
career.
Philly can not even that they could just offer they can first we already know they can get rid of Tobias, obviously. They can bring in like another wing player. That's gonna be tough to beat them and other teams. They was able to beat them because everybody wasn't helping the playoffs. Then you got a star and Tyrese Maxey who's still on a rookie deal, so they can bring in players around him before he get his little max contract or whatever they offer him. Since he made the All
But
Star team.
you know what though? I don't wanna forget the fact that like they could also get better. Like personal, like the players that's already on the team, like they could get better. Who knows? They work over the off season and all of a sudden they're just number one seed in the East.
Yeah, they can, but I feel like they got to
Because
bring in some type of defensive wing at the very least, because that was their only bad thing. They couldn't stop a running nose. Like they just couldn't play. They could score like
yeah,
crazy, but
yeah.
down the stretch they couldn't get a stop.
But
And then
see, is that they style of play though? Like, do they really care to be a defensive threat? I know you're not gonna win not
they
playing
don't.
any type of defense.
Yeah, but come playoff time, they're gonna need to be able to
They're
get a
gonna
few
have
stop
yeah.
here and there, and that's
But that's when I say that's why I'm like maybe they just get better because in my eyes it looks like Indiana's kind of like at a stalemate. Like what do you do? There ain't many people out there in the market that's really finna move the needle for real that you need, and you don't got the cap space to do it if you finna do what everybody think you finna do.
no, that's true. So that's what I'm saying. Like you could think, hey, let's run it back. Let's see what we got. But then at the same time, I'm not saying it was a fluke run, but it's got some fluke
It's got some
ish
fluke to
things
it.
to it. So it's
Yeah.
like you run this back, you technically wasting a year of Tyrese Halliburton entering his prime, as people would want to put it. Which he's still, I think he's only like 23 anywhere. Maybe he
Yeah.
might be
No,
22.
I think he's
I, I
24.
I think
Oh,
I think if
he's
they
still super young, so it would be
Yeah.
a little bit of over exaggeration, but that's what they're gonna say
if they
essentially.
make if they go in next year and they running back and it don't turn out, it's not gonna be this. I mean, shit. If it is, shout out Indiana. Prove me wrong. But if they don't, I'm not gonna judge them. If they can be a high seed or even make it to the Eastern semifinals, I wouldn't call it a fluke. I would just call it an organization that's literally building, like they're trying to get better. And I think they got here a little sooner than they expected.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nobody
You know what I
expected to
mean?
be.
Yeah, so I wouldn't harp on them too much if they ended up fourth, third seed next year. Fourth, third seed next year is great. You end up sixth seed again, that's fine by me. I don't care. But I don't expect them to. I didn't expect them to get here, so I wouldn't expect them to do it next year either. They don't got the pieces in my eyes.
What about you, Cam?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily call it like a fluke because I mean early in the year they was one of the better teams in NBA. So they got that or whatever going. But I definitely do think they should probably make some roster moves. Um, adding like a second scorer because I don't think Siakam is like a second scorer necessary. I think he can be like the third or fourth, scorer or like a third and fourth best player on your team. So yeah, I don't know, what they gonna do about him. I don't know if they want to give him the max or just let him walk or whatever. But I definitely do like Benedict. I think they should try to keep him. But I would probably go get like a second scorer to go next to Tyrese, like a Brandon Ingram or like a D Mitch or like
Brandon Ingram is a great. I know y'all
or
ain't
like
I
messing with
forgot all
Brandon
of
Ingram like I am,
That
but
that actually would
I
make sense.
think
I
good
don't know if
fit.
it
I
will
think a
work,
good
but that
fit.
will fit.
or
I ain't
like a
thinking of that. That's a
Dejounte
great pick.
Murray.
That's a
So
great fit.
I don't know. I think they need like a second score to go next to Tyrese that can really like down the stretch in the fourth quarter that can go out there go get him a bucket other than like
Hmm.
Tyrese because I feel like that's what they was really kind of missing like down the stretch and obviously defense also because they couldn't really stop nothing. So I think they do got the coach to to be back to where they was this year or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't like I said I wouldn't necessarily call it a fluke. I think they're a young team that could get better. But if they want to like make more runs, I would if I was them I'd probably like make another trade because the East is not that great. So I mean they could be at the same spot that they at right now. So
Yeah, and I agree because down the stretch of all these games versus Boston, I don't know what happened, but Siakam would have a good first half, and then the second half he would be nowhere to be found. And in the moments they needed a bucket, he was running away from the ball or missing shots. I just think I don't know. I think Chris might have said it. The Demar. I just feel like Demar doesn't fit their play style. Like you got
Oh,
to
that was
put some
Cam.
shooters around.
Mhm.
You got to put shooters around Tyrese. Demar can go get a bucket, but he can't shoot the three ball. So like that's someone who's gonna be in the paint or not demanding as much respect, so teams can help off or sag off. So I
Hmm.
I don't know. It's got to be a 3 and D wing.
even Mikhail would be nice, but they got a bonehead. They got a crazy owner.
Yeah, Mikel would be really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
so
Yeah.
there's pieces out there, and they got a lot of role players that I think aren't like they probably should have as many role players, bench players that they have. So they could definitely let go of some pieces and go get one of those. I would
Throw
call him
some pick.
a tier two, tier three guy. I don't know if tier three is too low, but
But they do got like a lot of pieces though that there are younger that we didn't see that they're banking on, like thinking like they're gonna be good. Like I think Cam said, Jarris Walker is one of them.
dude,
Mhm.
okay,
Uh,
I wanted
Ben
him.
Shepard, you've seen a little bit of him this year in the postseason. They think he's good. Jalen Smith is supposed to be, one of their better bigs that we didn't really
But
see.
he
But
came in
that,
the game and got dookied on though, huh?
yeah, but that's some of the young players that's like, hey, if we run it back, you probably gonna need them to step up a bit next year. But
See, that's not gonna.
I do think a silver lining though was we seen Nimhard be able to. He was a bucket at down the stretch in some of these games, especially
Mhm.
versus New York. I feel like maybe if he's willing to do it, I feel like you put him in a 6-man role so he can come in with the second unit and he's your bucket getter on the second unit.
Yeah, no, for
And then
sure.
down the stretch of the games, he can be on the floor with them, obviously. But that way you can keep, Tyrese from getting heavy minutes because I know he ran into the hamstring problem this year. Then he was kind of rushed back because of the new rule for awards. And he never really healed. And then the hamstring flared back up in the conference finals, and now he's out for the last 2 games. So definitely, definitely interesting. Like you said, East is weak, but at the same time, they're top heavy too. If like everybody's healthy,
Mm.
so if the East can be healthy, but I know injuries are part of the game, of course. It'd be interesting to see how they would fare in a healthy East playoffs. Because like I don't know if I'm taking them over Milwaukee, Boston, or New York when all those teams are healthy.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But those teams, whether we like it or not, they haven't been healthy year after year after year in the playoffs now.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like that might be a norm. Philly, like, damn, Embiid, it's probably just a normal thing now that you're just gonna be injured come playoff time, unless they literally just sit you throughout the season. Because you're not finna play a full NBA season. You're probably not even finna play 65, 60 games if we want to keep it a buck. So maybe that's just how it is. But
Yeah.
as for on the other side, the winning team, there's a lot of talk. And of course, we've been a big proponent of one of these guys being a young star if he can just take the crown. They gave the Eastern Conference Finals MVP trophy to Jalen Brown. Jason Tatum, depending on which way you want to look at it. If you want to look at the per game stats, Jalen Tatum had the better stats. If you want to look at the efficiency, Jaylen Brown had the better stats. So I get the argument and the like a reason Jaylen Brown got the trophy. But at the same time, there's definitely an argument like, hey, Jason Tatum definitely did his thing. Why didn't he get it? And I feel like some of the slander directed towards him is a little bit crazy when you actually just look at his track record. Like, to talk about him the way he gets talked about, it's like I don't know what much more we could ask from him. But how do y'all feel about that? Like, y'all feel some type of way that Jaylen Brown got over Jason Tatum, or
highway robbery?
Yeah, it's a slap in the face, bro.
In all realness, I don't feel some type of way because I genuinely don't care. But on the other side, I was listening to JJ Redick podcast, and they were saying like, for one, a person like Jason Tatum, they're gonna have the hardest guard on them all the time, right? And so if they continue to remain efficient, like if they don't play like ass, right, and that team goes on to win, then the best player on that team should get the trophy, which in this sense would be Jason Tatum. So I can agree with that. If Jason Tatum just played like complete butt and Jaylen Brown carried the whole way, then I give it to him. For like JB can have it for sure. But one of the things that emphasized on JJ Redick podcast was that Jaylen Brown just had moments that, you know, it defined the end of the games, right? Or, you know, so I guess that played a part in it. But if JT performs well, because remember last year we was on him bad because he was not performing at all.
Yeah,
you know, and he didn't do that. He showed up.
Game 1, Jason Tatum was balling out the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, I think he missed he was 2 for 10 and missed like his last 8 shots or something like that. And then Jaylen Brown, of course, hits the shot to save him, send him to OT.
Right.
He saved him. But then JT came back in overtime and closed out the overtime and had like all their buckets down the stretch. So it's like, I get it, because I was one of the ones who was mad at JT because JT had some good. He even smoked the layup that game, and I was like, bro, come on now, like you can't do that. But I'm like, Jaylen Brown hit the shot, but then overtime, JT stepped it up. I'm like, yeah, you get credit for that, but at the same time, it's like I get the argument where people are like he didn't show up in the fourth quarter, but then game 2,
but
he was the best player on the court.
He wasn't playing like that all
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, some of the slander, I don't get it, and that's why like I wouldn't be mad. Like I don't really care who wins this finals, but like depending on who gets the MVP, if it's Boston, I just know some of the media takes are going to be completely crazy about Tatum, as if it's him and LeBron for the players who have played, I think, 80 playoff games and averaged 25, 8, and like 5 across their whole playoff career in 80 games. Him and LeBron, that's it. And he's been putting up these stats since day 1, since he got in the league. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't have a finals victory, but none of these other guys do, and they all within the same age bracket. So what are we talking about here? Like when it comes to some of this slander he's getting, because he averaged 30, 10, and 6 in the conference finals and didn't get the MVP. But like that's a damn good series right there.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
But so I would hope with Boston, or who picks that? Is that media?
I think so. I think it's since ESPN had their games. I think it's like the ESPN crew that votes on that.
Okay.
And
I would
TNT
hope with
voted
them
on
doing
West.
that and knowing that the odds are heavily favored on Boston to win the series, this final series, that if they were to win, it's like no brainer. We're giving it to JT because he didn't. One of the things they also emphasized were if JT don't play like ass, even if JB outplays him, he still gets the finals MVP. Like they were saying like the JJ Redick podcast, they were like, we got to pick a way how we choose this. Is it going to be the best player on the winning team, or is it going to be like the most impactful player, I guess? Like, but it's just the guy who has moments. Are we going to choose that guy? Like, we can't switch it up. Andre Iguodala. Like, come on. That's one of the worst. That's one of the worst cases of this that we've seen.
Yeah,
so
I was
far.
like, I don't even remember a moment from that finals that even.
He never locked up LeBron. LeBron still averaged a triple-double.
That shit.
Yeah, it's insane.
We're gonna look about that and be like,
I think that's literally probably the only finals MVP that was like the worst one. I can't think of another one that's like as
Oh,
bad. As close to that.
that is, but another point though is because now people are going back to look at that first finals in 2022 that Celtics had. Of course, Jason Tatum didn't have a good series.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown started off hot the first couple games, but then they put Draymond on him, and Draymond started locking him up, but his stats still finished better. So I think Jason Tatum finished with like averaging 21 on like 30% shooting, and then Jaylen Brown averaged 23 on like 35%. So they're like, oh, well, Jaylen Brown was carrying Tatum. It was Tatum's fault they lost the series.
No,
Like,
they were both shitting the bed.
they both shit the bed down the stretch. So now it's like, oh, if Jaylen Brown outperforms him, again in the finals, Jason Tatum got carried, and it's like, okay, this is
But they were
what we're gonna
using
do.
that whole this man Tatum getting locked up by injury.
But remember too, there's also the fact that Jaylen Brown is the highest paid player in the NBA.
Right.
So technically, he should be doing what he's doing.
And Jaylen Brown's also getting the second to third highest guard on the team. Like the best defensive player on the other team is not gonna guard Jaylen Brown. They're gonna guard Jason Tatum. So Jaylen Brown, you're $300 million man. You better go score on this nobody, bro. Like you have
I feel like they also gave that to him because he got snubbed for making All NBA. So I feel like that's another reason why they're like, you know what, how you doing the series, we're gonna make it up for you. Now you can make an argument for that because like if you look like
no, I know you can argue for it. I just don't like it because it's not no kiss.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because they like, how you gonna be the highest paid, player and then you're not making All NBA?
He got robbed. Like, he
get robbed. He got robbed.
Because it's kind of like we're looking at All NBA stuff. It's kind of like same thing with like Bron and Kawhi. Like Kawhi missed a lot of games again this year. Like he started off strong, but how he make All NBA second team and Bron make third team? And Bron played damn near the whole season. More games, more points, more rebounds, more assists, more steals, and he's All NBA third team. And then Kawhi was second team. Kawhi only played like 50 games.
It's hella biased in the voting.
They never gonna fix that. Yeah, facts. Yeah. Literally.
Because some guy voted for what's Sabonis? Is he Greek?
He's some. I know. I saw.
Forgive me if that's wrong. Whoever listens,
he Lithuanian, I think.
Yeah, I think
he's not Lithuanian because that would be.
Or
he's not Greek. I'll tell you that.
Whatever he is, there's a reporter that's the same. And he put Sabonis first on his ballot for everything. Defensive player of the year, MVP, like everything.
He's not even like,
bro, you literally altering the balance of the scales. Like when people look back at history, it's like, oh, someone didn't get a unanimous vote here because you got people that want to do that.
No, does Doris Burke get a vote?
I think she does.
They got to take that away, bro. If you are showing,
that's funny though. She didn't vote for Tatum. I thought she would have for sure, but she didn't vote for Tatum for the MVP in the conference. She
voted for Shea, huh?
No. I mean, like the conference final, she voted JB.
Oh, my bad.
And I thought that was crazy for her because I'm like, you love Tatum.
Yeah, she be glazing Tatum like crazy, bro. Every game.
Bro, if she could, never mind.
Oh
like dog, she act like them dudes on 2K, bro. Every time they make a dunk, Giannis the Greek freak just going wild.
She acting like the LeBron fan. Some of my glorious king. Where do I begin?
Chill, bro.
Cam.
Chill, bro. It's my king.
I know you got a burner. You be posting that stuff on there. You want to contribute.
No LeBron.
Okay.
Where is it? I'm trying to find the voting breakdown.
I'm thinking about turning my Twitter to a CJ Stroud.
I should really tell them what you told me earlier.
Nah, you ain't gotta say that. Nah, you ain't gotta say all that. Nah, you ain't gonna. No, you can say all that.
You got to be wild.
This boy his heart beating. He's just hoping I don't say it. I ain't gonna say it, bro. You can relax. You can breathe, bro. You don't gotta think about it, though, boy.
Chill, bro.
I'm not gonna say it. And after all that.
Yeah, so these were the voters for the Eastern Conference Finals. Tim Bontips from ESPN.com, Jaylen Brown. Doris Burke, Jaylen Brown. PJ Carlesimo, ESPN Radio, Tatum. Dustin DePirac, Indianapolis Star, Jason Tatum. John Schumann, NBA.com, Jason Tatum. Dennis Scott, NBA TV, Jason Tatum. Joe Varden, The Athletic, Jaylen Brown. Gary Washburn, Boston Globe, Jaylen Brown. Jeff Zilgett, USA Today, Jaylen Brown.
Dang, that was close.
Yeah, 5-4. So
wow.
But those are the people who voted on it. I don't know how they came about, like how that was decided, them the voters, but
You said some Indiana dude voted Jaylen Brown?
no, he voted Tatum.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you're trying to stir the pot. Like
I
the
guess
team.
it's one each from a paper in the city of the teams.
Okay.
They got 3 ESPN, 2 NBA TV,
Yeah,
NBA.com
that's say
people,
you
and
got Dennis
USA
Scott on there.
Today.
Hmm. See, that's prisoner of the moment right there.
Matter of fact, now that I'm looking at who
Doris
voted,
Burke a dummy. Why would she do that? Like you love this team, now you finna sit here and tear them apart, trying to cause all this discourse.
yeah, and for Western Conference, it was Corey Alexander, ESPN Radio, Sam Amick, The Athletic, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports, Chris Hines, Star Tribune, Dave McMenamin, ESPN.com, Reggie Miller, TNT, Sean Powell, NBA.com, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News, Brian Windhurst, ESPN.
They
So
all voted Luka.
this one doesn't show me who they voted for, but that I would assume most of
Did
them
not.
voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody like. Yeah, I don't think any Luca had to sweep that. Like Kyrie did his
Yeah.
thing, but he also had a bad game, whereas Luca damn near averaged a triple double. So I'm pretty sure he swept. But speaking of them, let's go to the Western Conference, man, because this was one of the weirdest series. Like I don't. Minnesota didn't win a home game, which was crazy to think about. And I'm sorry, Cam, I got to do it to you. Roll the clip.
It comes down to rebounding and can you make stops in the fourth quarter, or not even fourth quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, also second half. Can you make stops? And I'm a sway towards T Wolves on this one. So I got T Wolves. They're gonna make it fast. In 5.
Oh yeah, you feeling bold on? Watch this.
You said it was gonna be a 5. Minnesota, what? Dallas, man, they had their number from the get go, and besides Game 4, and they really almost still won that one, playing their worst game of the series. They look like they completely outmatched Minnesota for whatever reason, and now Minnesota, they're going into a year where they're about to be one of the highest payroll teams in the league. They're deep into the luxury tax with the contracts they have on the books right now. They do have the core, so they got Edwards, Towns, Gobert, McDaniels, Nas Reed, Conley. All of them are still all under contract if you want to run it back. But now that they're in the luxury tax, and Cat, he didn't play good these playoffs. He didn't. I don't think besides this last game, Game 5, he didn't score 18 points, over 18 points in a home game, all playoffs, which is another crazy stat. What do you do here to like get them over the hump? Because I feel like you're still gonna need big men because you're still gonna have Jokic over there. Maybe they're not their team. The way it's built right now isn't the matchup for Dallas, but you're gonna need that to match up with Denver. What do they do from here? Do you look at trading Cat? Because like I said, they gonna be heavy in the luxury tax if they keep him. He's probably the only person on the team that got real value where they could get assets and pieces. You did sign Nas Reed for a steal of a deal. Can he step into that role? Rudy Gobert, obviously, 4-time defensive player of the year, but we've seen his moments throughout the playoffs. What do you do? What's the moves for Minnesota?
I don't think you get rid of Cat, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of him for real, but you don't get rid of Cat. Don't get rid of Cat. I don't really give a hoot and a holler about Rudy Gobert. Everybody knows that. I don't even know how he's still in the league. It's just because he's 7 feet. I think he's due for an extension, right?
No, he
Yes.
got
He got paid.
he
He's
got I
already.
think 2 years on his because he
Yeah,
had
he got 2 more
signed a
years.
max and then they traded for him, which they traded all of their picks. That's part of the reason too. They're now kind of in cap hell and they don't have picks.
Well, they're just fried. But they were fried from the beginning. We knew, bro. We knew when that happened. When Rudy got traded to the Timbs, we all said it wouldn't work. And then they sat here and made this decent little run, whatever, and it didn't work. And it didn't work because he did not produce. I don't know how he won DPOI, bro. I think they're kind of in the same situation as the Pacers. where they just got really good too quick. I think they still have time, especially with Ant. I think you got a couple years left with Cat. Like I think they have time to wait and see what pieces reveal themselves. Also, they going through some whole like litigation issue with their ownership, so they
Yeah.
can't even focus on basketball right now.
That's what
So
I'm
we
saying.
got
One of
Glenn
the
Taylor.
things is like you obviously can bank on Ant. He's only 22. He's
Yeah,
nowhere near what he's gonna be, and he's already really good. So you think he makes a leap? I'm just like, from the cap perspective, what is this was year 9, right?
yeah.
Next year's year 10, dog.
Well, I think with that, I think Cat did a okay job this year. Kind of, I think everybody knows the team is now Ants. I think Cat still feels like he has a little bit of ownership in that. Like he's a leader on the team, but I'm thinking he's starting to transition and realizing like I'm not the best person on this team. Can I be some nights? Like, can I be a Kyrie when my Luka's not scoring as well? Yeah, I should be able to do that. I think when Cat completely relinquishes that hold of whatever that position is on that team and gives it to Ant and allows Ant to thrive in that instead of Ant having to defend him all the time, I think that's when Cat starts performing better. Because like remember I said earlier in the year, the issue with Cat is he plays like he is that guy. Same with Julius Randle. They both play like they are number one options. And Cat used to be, but like you said, it's gonna be year 10. It ain't working, bro. You're not the number one option no more. If you allow this offense to cater to the number one option and then you perform where we need you to perform, you're going to play way better.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I don't disagree with anything you just said, but at the end of the day, Cat is a max deal player. You got to give them more than 17 points a game, especially in a series like that where you getting guarded by like PJ Washington and sometimes Jones Jr. Like you got the size advantage and you don't even use it, and then you label yourself as the best big man shooter in NBA history, which statistically speaking, he has that argument, but then you're not hitting shots. And like he is the vet, one of the vets on that team. Like you can run it back with him, but if they don't work again next year, then you're like, well, damn, Cat, like this is what we paid you for. If you're not performing, it's kind of a like we wasting time now.
Yeah.
When you got
So
Nas Reed, who's younger on a better contract, he can. I'm saying if you put Nas Reed in Cat's role, he probably give you the same production to Cat, if not a little bit better in some other areas. Because also
he's
another
so
thing of Cat's game, it's very concerning when you are in year 9 and you have a 22-year-old coming to the post game press conferences begging you to stop making stupid fouls. Like you too
so
old for that.
so when you get rid of Cat, who's your second scoring option?
That's what I'm saying. You trade Cat to try to go get more scoring
Mm,
pieces to help support Ant. Because that's really what they need. They needed a second bucket guy. They were struggling to find. It's supposed to be Cat,
yeah,
but
it's
they were
supposed to be.
struggling to find
Yeah,
that because McDaniels, while he gets buckets some games, he's not the second bucket guy, and you're
yeah,
asking him to guard the other team's best players most nights, so he's not gonna have the energy to always get you a bucket. Mike
yeah,
Conley, you saw what he told him, like, "Yo, I'm on my last legs. Get this one for me." We don't even know if he's returning next year, technically.
yeah.
So, like, they need a second guy that could just go get a bucket, take some of the load off for Ant, and that's what I'm saying. We're like, technically, Nas Reed. I think Nas Reed is getting something like 14 million a year. Like they stole that contract. I don't know how he signed for what they signed him to. You could get the same production out of him, then you could definitely trade Cat for not a haul. Well, shit, really, in today's NBA, it might be a haul
Probably.
the way they be
So,
trading and stuff.
so,
But you can
so
fill out that roster better.
So the
let's
question is, who would you bring in? That'll be the question.
yeah, and answer two parts. Who would you bring in, and if Mike Conley don't come back, who do you bring in for that too?
See, okay. Oh, okay. So that one, I'm glad you said that. So I was thinking, all right. So here's my two options if my con doesn't return. You got 2 point guards that you can make a trade for, and he's
So
two. One of them could be Peyton Pritchard. He's
I wouldn't
younger.
even go there.
That's why I can go because he's younger. He can distribute and he can shoot, and he always won the starting role. The other one I was gonna go is he's not gonna start. He's not gonna start. But the thing with Minnesota is they didn't have a point guard off the bench to run the second unit. That's one thing they really struggle
Niggas,
with.
they had what? Nickel Alexander, Walker,
But
and
he's
Kyle
not a point
Anderson
guard.
running the offense.
It
But
was
yeah,
supposed to be Monte Morris, but he didn't really.
they need a true point guard off the bench to run the second unit. Like you got teams like Clippers, Mavs, teams like that got a second point guard who can
So
run the unit.
Minnesota need 2 point guards in the
So
wing.
basically,
Yeah.
so my other thing is my other 2 point guards they can bring back Tyus Jones because he's on a cheaper deal and obviously Washington not doing nothing. Bring him back, or the third option is if somehow, some way the Pacers get rid of TJ McConnell, have him come off the bench and run your second unit. They're my 3 options. But I really like the Tyus Jones one's the best because he's familiar with Minnesota. He's been there. He play point guard well, and he's actually a very underrated defender too.
Yeah, I think Tyus will mesh very well with Anthony.
I think Tyus Jones would be the best fit in my opinion.
Very well.
Okay, so I don't disagree with that either, but it's another thing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused on how this all goes with the new CBA rules. But I think technically, if they trade Cat, it's got to be someone for something or someone that's like equal in contract value.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So really, if you finna go all in, because you have defense,
You got the money for it. Yeah.
Why not trade for Trae Young if Atlanta's willing to do it? You get a point guard that can set everybody, because that's really what we saw when Conley went out. That's what they struggle with the most, because now all the attention is on Ant, and he's not trying to create. He's trying to get his shot, and he struggled with that. You go get Trae, who can run the lob with Rudy, Nas, can set up Ant for shots, and he can knock down shots himself. And like I said, you have defenders, so I know Trae is lacking on defense, but you got McDaniels, you got Alexander Walker. Ant can play defense. And that's a bona fide score. We've seen him score in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I don't know if I like.
You don't like Trae Young, though.
No, I don't dislike Trae Young.
You don't like Trae Young in that
You be
system.
talking. You be talking.
Who,
down.
me?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, no, because I think he's a shot chucker, but I also think it's because of the system that he's in as well. Like they allow him to do that, which is getting to my point where is I don't know if that is the system or if that's just the way he plays because he's been like that for years.
Yeah, he played that in college also.
He played that in high school. Like we watched it. So I do wonder how that would bode with Ant because I do feel like Ant is a bit more ball dominant, which he should be as his team. And I think Ant scores well putting the ball on the floor rather than a catch and shoot looking to get somebody open. Now I get the point where it's okay if Trae Young's on the court, then it's like okay, we're not gonna double Ant, right? Like we can actually just have them all play man and Ant can just be one-on-one. But I don't know if Trae's the piece I would want to do that because I feel like the ball, it's not enough it's not enough basketball out there for the both of them. That's what it feels like watching Trae all these years. We've been watching him for years.
And then it's also to add to that is that like Trae Young's also a defensive liability too. So say they gotta get back on defense stuff. So it's also that's gonna make it hard to replace Conley because like even though Conley's older, like he's like 35, 36, he will still give you like 2 steals a game every now and then, like some great perimeter defense. So taking that away from Trae Young, like you said, he's a shot chucker. So say if he's like shooting like 9 for 28, for example, and then the defense is not there, that's like more constant pros. And you have other defensive guards too you can bring in. Like I don't know another point guard outside Trae Young that can fit. Like I wanted to say Murray, but the way how everything's going on with him and stuff, I don't know how he'll fit with Ant, especially like attitude wise. And so, but if he was able to get back to the mindset he was in San Antonio before he got the All-Star and contract and stuff, that's a great defensive backcourt. On top, both of them give you 20 a night. The only difference is, like I said, I don't know how he's going to be leaving Atlanta because it's speculation that they're going to break both of them up. It's rumors that one of them going to go back to San Antonio, another one go, I don't know, Orlando, like teams that actually need a point guard. So it's a lot of, pros and cons to it. But it's also underrated point guards, like I was saying, that they don't have to start with Minnesota, but they can come off the bench. They got like a Cole Anthony he can play great defense. He can shoot the ball. You got teams like that, and he can distribute.
What is Colin Sexton doing?
That's another one I'm gonna say to him too. He's with Utah, not doing anything.
Just chilling. They got another point guard over there too.
I'm not saying
the other point guard they got over there is what's his name?
Not the rookie.
No. I think
on Utah.
I think so.
Who?
Or maybe he a small shooting guard.
Who?
Well, I thought. Repeat the question. Who are you?
There's another person in Utah, right? of
No, the
course,
point guard.
13 of them. But
I think Sexton is their point guard.
yeah, Sexton's a point guard, but don't they
Oh
got
no, it's Keontae George.
Yeah, he's a
that's
rookie.
the
Though. He
that's
not
the
gonna.
rookie though.
You talking
Yeah,
about
he's a rookie.
Clarkson?
He's a shooting guard
Clarkson.
though.
Yeah, I just forget. Yeah, that's what I said. A small shooting guard.
Yeah,
I forgot
but
about
no,
him.
Keontae
The
George
thing
is the
is,
starting
I
point
don't
guard.
think they could afford a Jordan Clarkson because he's gonna be in the role player role, but he's
He's vetted.
demanding a more than
Yeah,
like that salary. I don't think they have
yeah,
enough space to do that if they're gonna keep Cat.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you going all in, the point guards we name are good options. I just don't think it moves the needle. If I'm
It
saying with
don't. But
the
are
team they
you?
got, Trey Young's a shot chucker, but this dude is also averaged like 10 assists every year of his career. Like he could get the ball to whoever,
I
whenever.
get that, but are you trying to choose a player that's so what? I'm gonna keep pulling from it because I think it was a really good episode. But one of the things that on JJ Redick podcast, he was saying he believes that we're moving into the era where it's not about the star players on your team, but it's about the team as a whole.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Ant similar to like I'm not calling him Luca by any means, but I similar to those like to Luca, he needs players that fit, not players that are just really good. I feel like his game can elevate his team rather than him needing players to elevate him, but he needs them to fit. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
That's
that's
why I'm
what I'm
like I
saying.
don't know if Trey's a fit.
I think he is because I think one of the main reasons Ant struggled in that Dallas series is he had no one that could create a shot for him. Like you say, it was all him one on one. He's getting the attention already. He started struggling, especially when Conley went out. They doubled. Like nobody could get him an easy look. Trey Young can get you an easy look. And like I said, their team is built for Trey Young's play style because they have defense everywhere else at every other position on the court, or 2 through 5. They got shooters, and you got Gobert, who's a big man. Trey Young can honestly Trey Young made Clint Capella look good. I would think he would be able to make Gobert look semi decent off a pick and roll lob. And he's
No,
got
Gobert
Nas
just
Reed.
ass.
You
You
run
don't
pick
always
and pop
know.
with him. You gonna sag under Nas Reed can shoot. That's what I'm saying. Where if
I
they're gonna make
see
a
it.
gamble, because I personally, and y'all know I've already said it on that episode we did like a month ago or 2 months ago. I don't think Cat is the answer. I thought they should have traded him last offseason. I think you run it back next year, you're gonna waste another year because at this point, I'm sorry. I think Cat is who we see him. He's a good regular season player. It come down to the playoffs, he nut up. Because he wasn't even really good in any series this playoffs besides game, what was that, 7 versus Denver. He came in and clutched up. That was it. And I'll give him the fourth quarter of game 4 versus Dallas. Because at that point, he hit like 4 or 5 threes, which was good. But up until that point,
Hmm.
he had
Yeah, he
5
was
points
butt.
and like 4 fouls
Yeah,
and like 20 minutes of gameplay. He's just not that dude. But I think Nas Reed in his role can give you the same, if not more. And then I think you add Trey Young to that mix. Now you got a facilitator. Nas Reed can shoot. Anthony Edwards, you can get to him in his spots. I think that's another thing he's going to need to get to. Like I said, he's 22, but I said it
hmm
last week during the game. I was like, he needs to learn how to get to his spot on a wing because he's strong enough. Back to the basket, get a fadeaway jump shot like a Kobe, MJ. That's going to be open
No,
every
I'm
time.
I'm I'm gonna give it to you because I don't want to be like Cam Sanders in saying like Luca never gonna win because his play style. When the whole argument was he just needed the team around him. So maybe Trey gets to Minnesota and he changes right because he has the team he needs. So I give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting though.
I think this team. Well, first of all, I think they'll probably run it back with this same team. They might add a couple more pieces or whatever, like like on a bench or whatever. Um, I think this team was built to beat the Denver Nuggets.
They were.
This team was built to beat like a team like the Celtics. They just so happened to run into a team who has the
To build
two.
everybody.
They have the 2 best fourth quarter closeout guys probably we've ever
Ever
seen.
seen? Yeah.
And I mean, it was just they just shot after shot. They just feed off each other. If Luka didn't want to shoot, he'll give to Kyrie. Kyrie go and make a bucket. Because I mean that whole series, other than game 3? I mean they was in the they was in the game towards the end. Now I would say at some point, sadly, Cat probably will get traded because I don't think he's the answer necessarily to what Ant needs. Because if you look at if they want to beat the Dallas Mavericks, if you look at how like I said, Luka and Kyrie, they probably was going combined like 55 points plus like each game, whatever. And you look over to Cat and Ant, they over there average or combining for like 35, 40.
Yeah.
That's just not enough. So, and mostly it'd be Cat fault, even though Ant was off
He
also.
didn't have a good series. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll probably run it back with this team. But like I said, this team was built to beat the Denver Nuggets, which they did, and they just so happened to run up against a really good Mavs team. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's tough. And what Ant gonna have to do, like Bryce said, he got to get to his spot, and he gonna have to find like some type of way to,
That's awesome. Thank you.
I'm dead.
Why you that? Why is that your sister?
Yeah, she was trying.
Yeah, I was
stay
gonna
up
say
there.
you not dapping your parents up. You're dapping sister.
Ant got to find like some type. He gotta like he said earlier in the year. He's only like 60% or however whatever
Shoot, I think
Oh, yeah, no,
30%
I'm
or
excited to see where his game
yeah,
goes.
no, he's gonna go.
So-
Yeah, he's gonna get better.
It's probably better that he lost this series because the way he was acting and they was all acting. If they would have
Yeah.
messed around and won, they would have been so ignorant.
Yeah,
and I was watching Gil's podcast, whatever, and he was saying that Ant spends like too much energy in like to his moves. So it's like he'll have the ball and like he'll do a move and he'll like go downhill, but then he'll come back out and like bring it back out and try to do like something. Like you're spending too much energy trying to do like a move or like trying to go downhill. Go downhill, get to your spot, and just bro, you can jump over anybody.
that's why, bro.
Elevate over like like a mid range.
Not
Elevate
even
over.
elevation, but like just getting to your move and getting to your shot quick, because that's all
Quick,
Kyrie
yup.
do. That's all Chris Paul does. I know we don't really talk about it much, but Chris Paul, bro, he one
Gets to the
move
spot.
between the legs, he to the elbow, he's shooting that ugly ass fadeaway jumper. It's going in.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not gonna lie. At least you want to look at the last 6 years for all the NBA championship teams, they have an elite point guard. I'm not saying Mike Conley isn't good because I'm a Mike Conley fan, but like you just said, Chris, it was so hard for Ant to get a bucket because he had to expend so much energy. Whereas you have someone who can control the ball, he don't have to expend that. Just hey, let's run the offense. I'm gonna get to my spot, hit me. When I get to my spot, get to my jumper easy. Instead of let me bring the ball down, they pressing me, they hedging hard on my screen. Now I gotta dribble for 15 seconds, expend all this energy. Then you want me to go hit a tough ass contested shot. Whereas it's like, okay, Trey, pick and roll. They gonna have to focus on them, and then boom, kick out. I'm in my spot, open shot. It makes having a point guard makes the game so much easier.
Yeah.
And Mike Conley, like I said, he's not elite, but we've seen how hard the game looked for them when he was out. What was that, game 3?
Yeah.
It looked like a whole different team.
And then it also a great point for that too, because when he got hurt in the second half, it showed like, the impact he has to the team, because I didn't even know he got hurt until because they like ESPN didn't announce it. And then I had texted Chad like, yo, where's Conley at? And apparently like he had re-aggravated his hamstring. He was out for the rest of the game. Nobody announced it. And so they had to have Ant be the main priority distributor. And he was getting tired. He's trying to set everybody up. And then, like, you seen a lot when he was kicking out to, like, Jay Madden for 3, or he was getting tired.
Kyrie on the other end. Like,
he was tired, bro.
Oh, that's tiring, bro.
But so then to Cam's point, where he's like, let's run it back. The only problem is you literally have to run it back the exact same, because the only players you can get are legit on the veteran minimum, the minimum contract. That's it. with how their cap space is set up now.
They'll probably
that's
run it back. Like I said, this team. There's nothing wrong with this team. This team is a good team.
There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying like year to year, teams get better. There's gonna be a team next year that's gonna be the new like dark horse front runner because we see it every year now. You don't have to deal with that. Memphis could potentially be back in the mix if Josh stays healthy.
That's a
You
good
got
one.
OKC, who's now probably gonna go get a big. Now they're in the mix because I think OKC is just a big away from competing with Minnesota, and we haven't seen them in a series.
And
So
then,
like that's what I'm saying. Like, what are
I
you
think
doing
Memphis
to get
got
better in the offseason?
No,
I mean,
but
they
that's
got
why I
guys
say.
that they'll. I
I
mean,
mean,
Jalen
Memphis-
McDaniels gonna get better.
I mean, the thing with Memphis-
they'll still get better.
But
Yeah,
that's
Memphis
why I
was
say.
Same team.
There was another bang up team too, and then I think they got a top pick in the draft this year as well. So I think once, like you said, once Memphis can get everybody healthy, Jock can keep his head on straight, they're gonna be a team to look out for. The only thing with them is that they always be a top seed in the West, and they got the same effect as Sacramento. Sacramento's a top team in the West that 1 year. They ran to defending champion Golden State team, got whooped in 7. Memphis, they was second seed. They ran to a championship team like the Lakers, got whooped, I think in 6. So the thing with Memphis is like if everybody can stay healthy, they could bring in some veterans because they had the veteran and Steven Adams, but now he's in Houston. They need to bring in some more leadership, and they really need some shooters because outside of Desmond Bain and Kennard, they don't have no shooters there. I'm not going to call Jaren Jackson Jr. a knockdown. He's not. But they don't really have any shooters there. They don't have their starting shooting guard is Marcus Smart. They don't have no shooters there. They need to bring some offense over there. That's what they really need. That's their primary thing. They need to look for some shooters because nobody's over there really a knockdown.
How you get talking about Memphis?
Because using that example is like a top team in the West if they can stay healthy.
Oh, okay. See, but that goes to my point earlier with saying I just think Minnesota in the same boat as the Pacers, where it's like you don't really have to go win now. Like you don't got to win next year. You don't got to win 2 years from now. I think they just got here earlier than they expected. And I mean, to Cam's point, Sanders' point, like they built a team to beat the Nuggets, and it just so happens that to beat when they played the Nuggets, it was in the semifinals, and they got them to the Western Conference Finals. They could have played the Nuggets first round and won. They probably would have lost in the second round. They got where they got to a little bit too quick, and I think that's okay. If they try to run it back next year, I don't really think that's a waste of a year because I don't think they should be expecting to do it again. Do they want to do it again? Absolutely. Like, who's not playing for a championship? But at the same time, just like with the Pacers, I wouldn't call this a fluke or anything. I just call it like you get to see where you actually are as a team. You can now gauge the steps you want to make, whether you make them this offseason or during the season next year or even next offseason. You know what you need for sure, and you know what you have and what you want to keep in the long run.
Well, that's where I half agree and half disagree about these moves because their GM was the former Denver GM, so that's kind of why they built the team the way they did because he built Denver's team and then he built the team to beat Denver. But they traded for Rudy, which was crazy when it happened because that was a championship now move. Even though we knew Ant was good, but that was them begging like Ant's gonna be great. We're going to get Rudy to pair with Cat so we can have the bigs. Like I said, they're now they're facing the consequences of that move because now they're in cap space hell. So the moves they made was to win a championship. So it's like next year, I know it's not the end for Ant because Ant's so young, but Gobert, Towns, Conley, it kind of is like you got to win now because Conley's probably if Conley plays next year, I would assume he's probably retiring after that. Towns, like I said, you going into year 10, my God, like you're gonna have to step it up somehow, some way if you're gonna be max contract player, best big shooter in the league. And Gobert, goddamn, you 4-time defensive player of the year. You getting into the Hall of Fame now. So like you gotta win. Like that's what it is.
See, but that's true. Those are championship moves, but I think we can all agree that when that did happen, that really wasn't a championship move. Like in their eyes, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Gobert. We finna do it. But I don't think the majority of the sports world is like, oh my God, they got Gobert. They finna go win it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think at some point, somebody somewhere in that office, they're gonna bite the bullet, bro. Like it is what it is. I don't think they're gonna win a chip with this team.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know
they
I'm
have pieces.
biased when I say that because I said it.
Oh,
I was like, I don't think a team with Rudy and Cat is ever going to win anything. But props to Ant because he made me believe after that Nugget series that he can
right.
really go do it. But at the
And
end of the day, what happened in the Dallas series is exactly why I don't trust them and never have. Because we've seen this year out with them too. They just don't win, and they have good teams
but
around.
I think that's the silver lining you take from it. We got a young guy and we got a young guy in McDaniels. We got younger guys on our bench. Like we have time, bro. Like we can at some point these two other guys or three other guys we don't need, whether it be Conley retiring, Cat getting traded, or Rudy just being let go and not extended in a couple of years or whatever. We let that time pass. By that point, I'm hoping Ant at his prime. And then Minnesota, when they do have a bit more cap space, they say, okay, let's make some smarter decisions and get pieces that are going to fit rather than just getting two twin towers. I'm not even going to finish my sentence, but let's just say they didn't held up to the end. It just didn't work out for them. So I think the front office made a dumb move, and they're going to realize it sooner or later. But right now, they're stubborn. And they think that was a championship move, and everybody in the NBA world knows that was not a championship.
I disagree. I think it was.
And where are they now?
I mean, that's like I said, they built that team
To beat Denver.
to beat Denver.
Yeah, but there's 31 other teams you got to handle.
Yeah, but Denver runs the West now.
Denver runs the West.
Yes.
And when did they get booted?
They lost to T-Wolves.
Right. And
What?
they didn't get first seed. I know that.
Yeah, but we all know that
You
still
can't-
like Denver is like it's
Yeah, no,
still
Denver
like
not-
better than
Denver not
everybody.
going nowhere.
They're not going
Yeah.
nowhere, but were they championship moves in regards to the trade? Yes, it was a very aggressive like decision to go out and get Rudy. Was it the right decision to win a championship? Probably not.
I
It's
think you
just
can
like-
win with Rudy. It's just certain things that like game 2, bro. That shouldn't be a switch in any like that shouldn't be a switch. We know
But
But you defensive player of the year. Stay. Where you at?
That wasn't
You reading the screen.
No. That wasn't what the coach wanted to do, though. The coach wanted to switch, but Rudy effed up and didn't like. He was supposed to, I guess, like kind of like rush him a little bit and like make him like.
He was supposed to show, but stay with his man. He didn't stay connected. But McDaniels also
So he was supposed to
hard of him.
stay.
But that
Coach
game
said,
being
the coach definitely did say they were supposed to switch, but it was supposed to be like a switch to where like he's supposed to press up on Luka and make him kind of like go around him, make like a
Oh, that's
And
still
drive?
dumb.
That's dumb.
Well, it would have been a tied game after that. Like if that would have happened.
No, it wouldn't have been a target because what would have happened was Luka would have run around him. He would have got to that elbow. He would have stopped, let Rudy big clumsy ass run into his backside while he still shot the shot and made the bitch.
Nah, it was like a possession or two before, to where like someone showed like this was exactly what was supposed to happen, and they pretty much stopped him. Like Rudy was supposed to do that, but he didn't. He messed up. But like I said,
At the end of the day, you
it
defensive player of the
shouldn't-
year, bro. You out there guarding the best player on the court to end the game. That
but
shouldn't
bro,
happen.
yes, it should happen. It should happen.
No, it shouldn't, Cam. He's the
Yes, it
goddamn defensive player of the goddamn fucking year. 4 times. You should be able to guard anybody on the court like Anthony Davis. There's no excuse.
Bro.
No. I'm not hearing you.
Let me talk. Hold on. All right, you don't got to hear it, but still, 10 times out of 10, Rudy Gobert, he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year by guarding guards on the perimeter. That's not what he does.
Why are you defensive player of the year then?
Because
If you can't guard all parts of the floor, why are you defensive player of the year?
because he protects the paint.
Because he's 7'2" when he puts his hands up.
Okay,
That's
I
what-
can't, like it's
y'all
bro,
both
it's,
making sense.
It's simple basketball, bro. Like
No. You're right. No, he does his job very well, but it's not defensive player of the year well. Why don't Steven Adams got defensive player of the year?
because he does not do the same.
Yes, he does.
No, he does
Yes,
not.
he does.
No, he does not.
puts
He
his
does.
hands in the
He
air,
doesn't.
bro.
Okay.
No, but y'all both right because this is what I'm saying. They have to trade one of them because, like you just said, Kim, they built them to beat Denver. Rudy is defensive player of the year for that series. It makes no sense why I'm not saying nobody's gonna shut down Joker, but if you're the 5 and you're a 4-time defensive player of the year, why do they have to put Cat on Jokic to even have a chance to play defense because you're getting cooked? That shouldn't happen if that's your man. Whereas in Dallas series, that switch should never happen. But the only reason they're in that position is because Cat couldn't hit a shot down the stretch and was broke, and he was missing his defensive assignments to the point Finch had benched him at one point. What was that, game 2, that he benched him the whole fourth quarter? That's what I'm saying. Like, they're both boneheaded in their own way. So
He
yeah,
probably regretted not putting Cat in during
he
that
wasn't
time,
hooping.
But I'm like
And Nas was hooping, right?
defensive
Nas
purposes.
was.
Defensive purposes, though, like, but that's besides the point, bro. Like, you're not asking Rudy to go out there and guard Luka Doncic, Luka on the perimeter. Like,
No, I'm
that's
not asking.
even.
I'm definitely not asking him. I want it to be known that I don't expect Rudy to go out there and guard the 1 through 5 consistently every single time. But I do feel like when you are of his height, and then we watched him do it. Bro, what series did we watch him? He had a locked up play because we were in the group to talk about something like, oh my God, like Rudy's playing defense. I think he ended up getting a steal or something, or he got a shot clock violation, whatever it was. He was playing up the perimeter. Even though you are a center and you excel in the paint, that's your job as a defensive center. I do believe when the time comes, just like how Luka got to make that shot, as 4-time defensive player of the year, I feel like you got to get that stop.
That's a tough ass. That's a tough ass.
It's a tough ass.
It's a tough ass.
But look, is it a tough ass to ask Luka to make that shot? Is it a tough ass to ask Shea to make that shot? Is it a tough ass to ask Nikola Jokic to make that shot? It's absolutely a tough ass. But they are MVP. Well, they're not MVPs, but they are MVP. Well, Jokic is obviously, but they're MVP caliber players. And when the time comes, they step up in their niche, whether it be shooting a tough 3 or getting to the rim and creating a foul. Like, respectfully, I would have preferred Luka shooting a mid-range. The dude, he went for game.
Yeah, that's what they wanted him to go. They wanted him to go for mid-range. I'm just saying, like, it's
a hard ask. You're right. You're absolutely right.
That asking Rudy to guard Luka Doncic on the perimeter and stay with him, and for him to slide his feet against Luka, that's more of a tough ask than Luka going out there and hitting the game winner.
That is a tough ask, and it's crazy. They shouldn't have done it. I'm just at the point where I'm not. Throw that play out. I'm not putting that on Rudy. That's just dumb scheming, dumb coaching, whatever you want to call it, dumb execution. I'm just like, for you to be a 4-time defensive player of the year, and Rudy in like year 11 or 12 developed no offensive post moves whatsoever. I don't know what he does in the offseason.
Yeah, I think he's on 11.
For him to be that bad on offensive side of the ball, which means you playing 4-on-5 most of the time. In the playoffs, since you 4-time defensive player of the year, you got to become that much better on defense if you're going to be that much worse on offense and you 4-time defensive player of the year. That means you got, like, how in the sense where Chris is saying, like, you expect the MVPs to make the MVP plays. I'm not saying that last possession guard Luka, but I'm saying that whole series we watched Gafford and Lively dominate him on the boards. Rudy wasn't getting blocks. Dallas was throwing lob after lob, and he's just sitting there in the paint not doing nothing. Then you go down on the offensive side of the ball, and like I said, he can't score. He doesn't have a post move, but you got him calling for the ball in the post, and then you got Cat's dumbass giving it to him. What do they do? They don't care well.
Not to mention that shot Luka hit on Rudy. That's his third time making that shot on Rudy specifically.
Yeah, the lobs that was obviously tough. They throw so many. I mean, they was throwing some crazy lobs. They was going out there. They was going out there and get them. But
that's what I'm saying. 4-time defensive player of the year. You 7-2. You got to be able to.
Well, I mean, you got to. Okay, but it's tough. They put him in a pick and roll situation. He has to come out there and show, but he also got to come back there and go back to. I mean, some plays he was actually, tipping the ball and like. Blocking it away from the lobs or whatever, but majority of the time they was getting the lobs off. Now, I think, when he was sitting, it was a complete layup line the whole time. I mean, completely the whole time. Like Kyrie layup line, Luka layup line, like all like Derrick Jones complete layup lines. But when he was in there, I mean, it was definitely a difference when he was in the game compared to when he was out the game. Because I mean, he played a lot. And I don't know, it was a big difference when he was out the game because, like I said, it was straight layup lines the whole time he was out, and and Finch was forced to put him back in. So
I would for sure hope so. It would be a big difference. He's 7'2".
yeah, I know.
But here's the thing about it though with Rudy, because I guess I do be a little hard for sure. I mean I just feel like it's okay to have high expectations for people of his caliber because, like Bryce said, he's going to be a Hall of Fame player, like 4 Defense Player of the Year, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. But my thing is, there wasn't any point during that series or the Nuggets series where I said in my head like, Rudy is making it hard for them. Like it never felt like he had dominant defensive stretches that a Defensive Player of the Year would have had that I was expecting to see just with the eye test. Like, you know how when he got it, we were all like, Victor should have got it. Well, that's because throughout the year, we watched Victor have these dominant defensive stretches. Not to mention he's going to the ball.
A quadruple double with blocks. At one point, he almost did. I think he had like 9 blocks.
Almost
blocks.
did. I don't think
he got like a 5x5 game.
No, I think in one game he had 9 blocks.
I know. I'm saying that's a game. He had 5 blocks, 5 steals, 5 assists, 5 plus rebounds, 5. Yeah, like
so it's that stuff. It's not the fact that he's not doing his job. It's just like, if you're gonna be Defensive Player of the Year, I expect you to perform defensively way better than these other guys that, I mean, respectfully, I think they got snubbed. Like we talked about AD possibly getting Defensive Player of the Year. We talked about Victor possibly getting Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like they tend to have more stretches dominating on defense than Rudy does.
In simplest terms,
and it sucks because Rudy is 7'2", so it sucks because it's like that's what you're supposed to do. Like, like that's what the mindset is that you're 7'2".
He dominated. In that Nugget series, he dominated like probably like a couple games that he had a stretch where he was like, damn, like Rudy's like dominating on defense right now. We said that in the group chat before.
I think I talked about it offensively, never defensively.
No,
when he was doing offensive crazy stuff. Maybe that was you and Bryce, but it was never me. I was never hyping that man defense up because it was never spectacular to me. As a 7'2" foot center, bro, you getting 2 blocks a game is the minimum, especially when you cannot do anything on the other side of the ball. I'm only asking you to grab the ball off the rim and to block a couple of shots, and that is the bare minimum. 7'2" Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. That is not acceptable to me.
It's just not all about blocks, though. Like, I just
hate what is this about? Because it was layup lines when he was in the game, and it was layup lines when he was out of the game.
Were
the layups a little bit more difficult? Absolutely. Absolutely. Were the layups a little more difficult? Absolutely. But they were still making them. It wasn't no impact that we see from AD or that we see from Victor.
I mean, Derek Lively didn't miss a shot all series. That's crazy.
I mean, that was more. I mean, that was like all like lobs.
It was majority lobs, but he also was getting
looks.
putbacks. But that's what I'm saying. Like that. In simplest terms, what we're saying is when we have these great players, the MVP players, just say Defensive Player of the Year is an MVP award because that's essentially what it is on the defensive side. In the playoffs, you expect these players to increase their game for what they did in the regular season. That's the reason we bash Harden because he drops off in the playoffs. That's the reason we bash PG because he drops off in the playoffs. LeBron is held to the highest standard in the world because we expect him to be God mode in the playoffs from what we've seen earlier in his career. We expect that from Jason Tatum. That's why he gets bashed for whatever reason. Luka, the same thing where it's like, okay, can he win with this play style? Well, he better step in the playoffs, which he has. I'm saying Rudy, for be a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, there's no point in his career where we sat there and watched him in the playoffs and be like, oh, this is why he's 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like, he's really, like, shutting down on defense. And I know it's not like he's a lockdown defender. That's not what he does. But if he's not going to give you anything on offense, you need him to step it up that much more on defense to where he's a real factor. But like I said, for me, it just comes down to the simple point. If you got a combination of Rudy and Cat, I think they're both losers at the end of the day, and you're just not going to win, which is why you have to make a move. Because like you said, they built them to beat the Denver Nuggets. As we see, every year, it's a gauntlet in the West with a new team added in. Next year's just not going to be the Denver Nuggets. They might match up with Dallas in the first round. They might match up with Dallas in the second round. They might match up with OKC. They might match up with Phoenix. Like, and they could get, but like it's so many other things that can happen to where you're just banking on Denver, which they were the top dog, but when they got Rudy, Denver hadn't won anything yet. So it's not like, oh, well, they only built this team to build it. They built this team to win the championship. And now they're in cap hell because they made the moves they did. So now I think that one of them has to go. And it's probably not Rudy since they traded everything away for him. It got to be Cat. But then, like I said, Cat was the one guarding Jokic in that series. So if Cat is gone, are you putting Rudy back on Jokic? Because he couldn't do it, obviously, when that matchup was there. And that's what I would assume you got him for.
So I'm saying they're probably just saying they're gonna keep this. They're keeping the same team.
And I'm saying that's gonna be a waste.
So too.
I
don't think it's a waste though. I don't think it's a waste though. I think it's just another. If good things happen, they happen. If they don't, I don't think they should get bashed for it. I think they're just a growing team. I know we're saying that picking up Rudy was a championship pickup, but I wouldn't hate them if they were like one day, man, that wasn't a good pickup or it didn't work out.
It is a waste because that's another year that they just got older. Cat loses more trade value. He's never gonna increase in trade value.
The Cat part is that's
where I'm like, I thought they would have done it last offseason because we saw them. They were built to beat Denver. Granted, McDaniels got hurt in that series.
If they end up winning, none of that matters. So it's like
it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. It happened though.
It's on both sides. It's on both sides. So you can't just say that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it's fair for me to say if they win.
Yeah. But I think trading Cat makes not trading Cat. I mean, they can't.
It's
whatever they need to do.
Viable trade they can make that would bring them back assets.
I would say whatever they need to do, they just need to get a point guard because they're gonna hate themselves.
I'm telling you, bro. That's all I was saying the whole time.
They're gonna hate themselves when they don't have a point guard, and Ant doesn't actually be able to be a true shooting guard and grow in that role.
But that's what I'm saying with their cap space.
Yeah, I know, Bryce. I know. I'm just not gonna sit here and agree with you about Cat and disagree with Cam about Cat. Like I don't want to be a part of that argument. I just want to say that they need a point guard. Whatever they need to do that, do that.
Yeah, I agree with it. But I'm saying, like, the real world scenario.
Nigga, I know what you're saying.
That's what they got to do.
That's what they can do.
They don't got to do. That's what they can do.
You never know. That's what
in order to get a point guard.
In order to get a point guard.
They literally can't offer anybody anything but the vet minimum because of the way the rules are set up in their contracts. That's what I'm saying. Like Derrick Jones Jr. said he could have re-signed in Chicago this past year for way more money, but he bet on himself and signed for the absolute minimum in Dallas so he can have a better role. You're going to be looking for guys like that, but who really is going to want to sign up for that necessarily that's going to move the role or move the needle at the point guard position?
No, but that's what I'm saying. No, because what you're saying is like for next year. I'm saying that I think this team has a few years, so that's why I'm not just saying trade Cat because you can eventually probably get rid of Cat and Gobert and just free up cap space straight up. You don't have to make any moves right now. You can just let Ant develop, let JD
That's
McDaniels
a whole different
develop.
team at that point.
And I agree. I've already said I don't know if this team's gonna win I don't think this team's gonna win a championship. So I'm completely fine with this team not being what it is when they do start winning again. I don't care if they win next year. I don't really see it for real, but it's definitely possible.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if they got 4-time defensive player of the year who they traded 5 picks for, they obviously think they're in the window now and they need to capitalize.
Well,
they've had Cat for 10 years and he hasn't shown that he can be a guy to help them in the playoffs. Like, if they went all in. They literally went all in. That's why they're in the position they are in now. So now it's like you're all in. If they keep it going and don't do make a trade like Cat or Gobert, they're just gonna end up in a semi-quasi rebuild in the middle of Edwards' prime because he's gonna be about 25, 26 at that point. When you're like, okay, well then we just get rid of Gobert, we get rid of Cat. Now it's a whole new team in the middle of his prime.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think anything's wrong with that. I like seeing like star players cook on like a like kind of a mid team. Like get better. Like Ant
It
has so
won't.
much time, bro. He does not have to win
Listen,
I know
tomorrow.
he has time. I'm saying the team doesn't have
Bro,
time.
I
Like
don't care about the team. They're
it
not the
wasn't.
future. I
I
think
mean, that
the
we
Tim
you
should
just
not.
look at.
I mean,
that
Cam,
was
me
the
and Cam
question,
disagree.
though. It's
What?
what can they do for the future to not let this happen next year and they
Yeah,
capitalize.
see, no. The question never mentions next year. It just says what can they do later? Can they keep
That's
Cat or fill the bench or explore trades? You don't have to keep Cat and explore the trades next year. Like you don't have to do any of this stuff starting next year. Now, if you want to talk about the investment that they made and if they're going to like get any return on that investment, then absolutely, you do everything you need to do right now, tomorrow to survive for next year. But I don't think, at least me, I'm not gonna give them any backlash if they decide this investment to go to trash and they end up doing us like a semi quasi rebuild in a few years. Cam Sanders may disagree because he does believe that this is a championship team, and I respect that. That's his thought process. But with me, I don't think that this team, anybody on this team that's not Anthony Edwards, Nas Reed, and JD McDaniels is going to win a championship, which is why I see there is no rush in it. These guys have years. We can let go of those guys later. We could trade them in a draft. We could whenever the next couple few years. If they don't get it done by the next couple few years, then maybe Ant walks away. That's what I'm
This
thinking.
and also this is only like year two of the like this whole like project of like the Rudy Gobert, Cat, and Ant era. So I mean, like I'll say, give it like another year, maybe two, and then proceed on. Because I mean, like we said, superstars don't really start winning to their like 26 and 22 right now, so they can kind of mess around right now and and do stuff, and get ready for when he's 26. But yeah, I mean this is only year two, and they made the Western Conference Finals. Who knows what they can do like in next year or the year after or whatever. While also building more chemistry. I feel like that's kind of bigger than like adding like a whole nother piece, like what they could do or like what another team could do. But yeah,
well, if they're gonna make that jump, it's gonna be on Cat's shoulder. He gotta be a
yeah, he's gonna
complete
have to step up.
dog,
Yeah, no,
a
that is
playoffs,
true.
and he just not a dog. I mean, I think he is who he is.
Damn,
And
Cam.
Gobert, he's Gobert. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you don't add a single offensive move to your game in 12 years in the league. Like you can't a drop step hook something.
The
It's
good
bad.
thing for them, besides game five, besides the end of game three, they was in every game. So I mean,
it was close games. I'm not gonna take that away from
they
them.
Yeah,
was it was
I will
definitely
say,
close.
Yeah,
And definitely game one, game two could have went literally either way.
and I told Cam this on a game the other day. Like I figured every game was gonna be close like that, which is why I said a 7. I never thought the Mavs would end up winning 3 in a row like that. I really felt like I knew the games were gonna be competitive. I never thought they're gonna be blowouts. But I also never thought it was gonna end
Bro,
that
that's
soon.
that's what I said, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought every game was gonna be close games, which it was. I just thought at the end,
it's just
let's
the
see what's
difference
going
between the
on.
Yeah.
Timberwolves and the Mavs is no shade to Ant, but he's not a 4 quarter closer yet. He's only 22. He's not there yet. Luka and Kyrie, they're known for closing the 4 quarters. They're literally number. I think they rank 1 and 2 out of the entire league in 4 quarters. I think then next, I think it's Jason Tatum. Once Ant gets to that level of closing out a 4 quarter, then what I'm saying, then it probably been like 6, 7. But it's 2 versus 1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
So
say.
he gonna
Yeah,
need somebody else to close the 4 quarter
yeah.
with him sometimes.
That's what they
With
were saying, that the
yeah,
Mavs 2 superstars, they just outperformed the Tim's 2 superstars.
yeah.
That's just
That's
what it
basically
is.
what it was.
So the Mavs
That's
two
just what it is.
superstars, Luca, Kyrie. Because I think that was. Did you pick Timberwolves in 7, Chris?
I did, yeah.
Well, I know. Okay, so I know that was me and Swan's reasoning for. He had him in 6. I had Mavs
Yeah,
in
I had 6. Yeah.
7, but that was our reasons. Like Luca, Kyrie, they can close better than anybody. They can get buckets. Even the game 5, Luca comes out the first quarter has 20. Kyrie has 15 in the second, just like that, like spurts like that, and they're scoring. They outscored Minnesota's whole team with them just alone in that first half. But obviously, the talent is undeniable. and I forgot who said it. I think it might have been
Van
Reggie
Gundy.
Miller or Van Gundy. He said they're the most talented, keyword talented, not best, but the most talented backcourt we've ever seen in NBA history. Is that right or wrong?
That's right,
Bro, it's
yeah,
right. You know why it can't be wrong? Because we go on record every single day and call Kyrie Irving the most talented person to ever have a basketball.
And then Luka, and like I said, Luka been doing this since he was
Yeah.
14. So
Yeah.
when you put them two together, that's literally unfair.
Yeah, I don't even think.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not an
but there was an
argument.
outrage from people about him, like,
Because
Who
everybody
was the other choice?
It's
Well,
because
I think the other two choices would be
They said
obviously
Clay,
Steph
Steph.
and Clay, and then the other
but
one
like
probably
okay,
like
so
Harden
when
and
people,
Russ.
the reason why people are outraged because they confusing talent with accolades. Like if you're naming Clay and Steph, they
They're
won
the
4 rings
best.
together. Like they're the best shooting backcourt
Right,
in NBA history.
best
We know
duo.
this.
They're a duo for real.
But yeah, they're duo.
Yeah.
Like they're known for breaking records, shooting wise, and everything. But we're talking about pure talent,
Pure
just like
talent.
pure hooping.
Yeah.
Oh, like you see what Kyrie doing with his
Yeah.
left.
Clay's not
Off-
doing
off-
anything
off
that
his left foot?
Kyrie and Luka doing.
Like that's talent. And
Yeah.
so like I'm not so I think a lot of people they're outraged because they're confusing the accolades of what the players did in the NBA history to the pure talent. That's why I don't like this in the base, bro, because
Yeah.
people will be like, oh well, how can you say that they ain't win no chip? It's not about the rings, it's about like pure hoops and just pure hooping. That's why I hate the whole ring.
You could literally put up a chart of like all the things you need in back. So like rebounding, dribbling, passing, finishing at the hole. If you put you can go down the list and be like, okay, who has that? Luka or Clay? Kyrie or Clay? Clay's gonna miss on a lot of those.
Exactly.
That completely knocks out the Warriors duo.
The only thing Clay's really beating him on is the shooting and the defense, the perimeter defense. I give him that. But we're talking about like the rebounding, the scoring, the assists, stuff like clutch, fourth quarter clutch.
Yeah,
like you're gonna give it to them.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like them to base, man. They were going like the whole ring stuff, the accolades, who broke records, blah blah blah.
Cam Sanders, what do you think about Klay Thompson? You think he's really good, right?
He's the second greatest shooter of all time, man.
He is, but man, I try to tell you.
Yeah, Luka and Kyrie are literally
Luka, oh my god.
You know what though was crazy? Only reason I chose the Timbs is because I was like, man, the big guys whooped up on OKC. I think the Timbs with their Twin Towers, they gonna stop that. And that's not what happened. Only reason why I chose the Timbs.
That's fair though.
Well, I chose because I thought I chose the Mavs because I think one of Cam's argument was like, and he said it is like how I thought Phoenix would do it. He was like, they're gonna have to beat them with jump shots. I was like, well, Kyrie and Luka, they can literally beat you with jump shots because like you can't guard them. You just have to hope they miss. Like that's what it comes down to. They could get whatever shot they want at any given point in the game, and for whatever reason, Luka gotta be the best road playoff game player maybe in NBA history. It's like he gets a boost to all of his attributes whenever he's on the road. They start talking shit, they're throwing stuff at him, and he just okay, yeah. Go home, motherfucker. Like he be on it.
Like you saw from game 4, he hit that crazy shot with Ant. You know, they almost won that game. And so you got angle like him. You got to blame Cat for how it was a game 5. Yeah, because Cat was talking a lot of shit. And so Luka was chilling, and then Cat was talking stuff. Luka's like, all right, bet. But he
Cat
said,
or Ant?
Luka, huh?
Cat or Ant?
Because Ant was talking too.
Cat was talking stuff. Ant was chilling. It was Cat.
They talked before the game during that press conference.
Ant was like, bro, like he was telling like, chill. And so Luka pretty much like, you must forgot what happened in 2022 versus the Suns. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So he came in, Luka giving him 20 in the quarter. Up. Next thing you know, I'm looking at score. They up by like 35. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna turn this game off.
So also, will the basketball guys get him for talking shit or no?
Hell no.
You talking about Cat?
No, about with Luka.
Hell no.
The thing with Luka is, bro. Okay, so as being a Mavericks,
Luka is the basketball guy.
It
wasn't. I don't think.
What y'all said about it though, because y'all said the basketball guys about to come get him.
It's not the talking shit part about what I was saying.
Yeah, it didn't go for him.
It was the way they were ending the games. Like they, I'm not a believer in it, so to speak. You play to the whistle, the zeros on the clock, but they weren't respecting the games at the end. Ant doing the chop and shit in the Phoenix series. McDaniels trying to dunk on Denver when time is out and the game is over. That's what I'm talking about, where they disrespected the game, and it's like, that might come back to bite him because like when you do stuff like that, usually the next time you play, team comes ready to play, and now it's like, oh, you shouldn't have been doing that. Talking shit go both ways.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a fake. I'm saying where Luka just talking shit, but it's not like he's like, disrespecting anybody. He's like, I'm doing this shit and I'm gonna tell you about it.
Yeah.
And he
And
does
who's
it.
gonna stop me? And
And
who's
he's
gonna
done
stop
it
me?
every year. Like he does it
So,
all the
like,
time.
Yeah, so like he's like you remember how like when they play, like you said, when they play Denver, him doing the DX and shit like that. That's what he's saying. Like I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen, and it's not even like to be like biased or anything, but I ain't never seen Luka or Kyrie, do stuff like that. If they did, what I'm saying, karma's real, come back to bite them. But
Kyrie stepped on the Celtics
that,
logo.
bro, that's
And he paid for that. He paid
Yeah,
for
he
that.
did. That boy
he
had
paid
some
for that. I'm
horrible
talking about
years,
no,
boy.
man, I'm
He was in
talking about
hell.
recent.
He was
I'm
in
talking
hell.
about recent. I'm not talking about when he was on his demon stuff, when Kyrie's on his demon stuff. We already know about that.
Crazy.
Because he did that, and what happened? He got hurt, and then Harden was on one leg, and they lost by a toe.
Then he had to
Toe
get
on
on
the
Zoom
3-point line. They
calls.
lost.
He had to donate money.
He had to donate money. He had to take
Well, he was
anti
in hell, bro.
them
Everybody
classes. Yeah, so he got his karma. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about since he's been on Dallas, he have not done anything like that. He's been chilling. The only time I saw him talking shit was when he was talking to Xavier Tillman, bald headed ass. That's the only time he was talking.
And that wasn't even really shit talking for real.
That
That's
when
just
shit
like
talking.
that's just like
It was hooping.
it's like you gonna respect me, bro. Like I've been doing this, bro.
You basically like I hoop and talk. Like, what I'm saying? I'm on the
bro.
positive side, but don't get it wrong. I'm still Kyrie Andrew Irving. So the thing that's gonna like this series, like the thing with this one is Boston gonna give Kyrie hell. You already know that. The thing about Luka is that's why I say it's gonna be an interesting series because the one thing about Kyrie, he ain't gonna re-say as much because the whole Boston stuff and everything. Luka don't give a damn. He don't give a damn at all. And so he gonna be like, all right, if Kyrie not gonna talk, I'm gonna talk. And he like to bark back. And them fans in Boston rowdy. So they're gonna be going at it the whole entire series.
And the thing with Luka, also why the basketball guys are gonna get Luka, bro, is because Luka don't talk unless he get talked to, bro.
Yeah.
He just hoops, and then if you want to scream like yeah, I'm here to play, that's not talking shit. That's literally just hopping yourself up. But if a fan is like, hey, you suck, all right, I'm here, motherfucker. Like, come on. That's what we see those videos
Devin
of
Booker
Luka
when
talking
when
shit.
he woke him up, talk shit when they was up, and Luka was like, I don't get it. They only talk when they up. They're not talking when they're down. Well, let's see when they're, and then he comes out. Like, I don't know, man. He does it. And then that was another reason. I just thought the experience of him and Kyrie over Minnesota. Nobody on Minnesota has ever been that far into the playoffs. Whereas you got Luka, who led Dallas to the conference finals 2 years ago, and then you got Kyrie, obviously, with LeBron's stint and all the success they had. It was just experience, and like Minnesota, I say like part of his basketball guys, they didn't know how to act because they'd never been there before. So like all of this was new to them. They're excited. And then like even when they did win game 4, it was like they were kind of like content with that. They were like, yeah, we ain't get swept. I knew we wasn't gonna get swept. And it's like
we was close the first 3 games. We probably could win 3 more in a row.
Oh nah, Ant was saying we'll see y'all back in game 6 though.
No, he was, but I'm saying
Ant said that. I'm talking
McDaniels.
McDaniels said they can win 3 more in a row now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, you don't say that, bro. Like me personally,
wait. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem. That's confidence.
Wait. Let me, because I know what Cam finna say, because we talked about it the other day. No, you don't say we don't have a chance to win at all. But you don't sit there in the press conference acting like this team didn't just whoop you bad 3-0. Well, not whoop you bad, but they outplayed you 3-0. Your star players ain't really been contributing. You win 1 game, and you say, yeah, the first 3 games. The first part of what he said was perfectly fine. First 3 games, they were really close. We were in it. So when we won this one, like, like that's good. That's good. Like we knew we could win 1. That's cool. We could probably win 3 more in a row now. And you just sitting there like you that nigga, like, excuse my language, but you can't just sit there like you just that dude for real. You just want, like, it's kind of like I don't know. That's just immature to me personally.
I don't want to say immature.
I think it's very immature. I think it's very immature.
I think it's overly confident.
That's overly confident. It's the same shit, bro. In this case, it's literally the same shit. Because you could have said anything else. You could have been like, yeah, I think we have a really good chance at winning the next game. Or yeah, I think we have a really good chance at pulling off this series if we keep it up. But no, it's sitting back in your chair all cool. Yeah, we could probably just win 3 more in a row now. Like, who do you think you are, bro? You got to go play these dudes again 3 more times. You not that dude. Y'all just barely won.
I mean, but then
That's
again,
all I'm saying. That to me, that's immature.
I mean, he
like,
probably thought that way or could say that
well,
way.
he did because he a crash out. We've been
Yeah.
talking about that.
Like I said, game 1, game 2 literally could have went either way. Literally either way. So he probably thought, oh, look at
I'm not disagreeing with that. It's kind of similar to what we was talking about earlier with just having that media understanding as a young player. There's ways that you approach stuff, and when you don't approach the right way, it comes back and it bites you in the ass.
I guess, man. I guess.
It ain't no, I guess we just watched it live.
Watch what love.
Oh, hell.
This man Cam, bro. You talking about the ass whooping, bro.
I'm finna buy Cam a Tim's jersey since he's just diehard Tim's fan right now. This is crazy. Man claimed OKC, claimed the Lakers. Now he riding hard for the Tims. Who next?
Well, I mean,
the Magic.
Nah, I say I'm an Ant fan.
First
and foremost.
No, you're not an Ant fan. You a Rudy fan.
No, I'm an Ant fan. Let's get that understood. I'm a Ant fan. So yeah.
Well, that wraps up episode 1, the conference finals.
I need